Let's go to Mike Warren, staff writer for the Weekly Standard. Mike, good morning to you.
Morning, Martha.
You think about this, it's like, why, maybe it's a more interesting question to ask why Joe Biden wouldn't run than why he would, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Ed is exactly right that there's a lot of sort of momentum pushing back against Hillary Clinton. You've got these poll numbers that are sort of cratering, or they're at least at the top line very weak and thin for her. You look deeper into the sort of underneath those numbers, and you see that she's got problems with honesty and trustworthiness among not just American voters in general, but even Democrats. So Joe Biden has to look at this. He has to be thinking, wait a second, I've always wanted to be president. He ran in 1988. He ran in 2008. He's been a loyal soldier for Barack Obama over the last 8 years. And he's been, I think, a force within the administration, coming out early for gay marriage, which has now become a standard position for the Democratic Party, and brokering a lot of those deals in Congress once Republicans took charge. He has to be looking at this and thinking, why not me? And I think people around him are thinking the same thing. If he wasn't doing this, I think you'd have Biden people putting the kibosh. Instead, we're hearing stories like Ed's more and more every day.
Yeah. There's been a lot of discussion. Obviously, he had a serious loss in his family with the loss of his son a month or so ago. Is there any sense that you get as to what impact that has on whether or not he's up for this?
Well, there have been stories that Beau Biden, before he died, had apparently said to the vice president that he wanted his father to run. Of course, the Biden folks are saying this is inappropriate to talk about this, this is still a family in grieving. But look, I mean, things like this, deaths in the family, this sort of very tragic incidents can have an effect on how you view yourself and your legacy. I think that has to be a big part of this. And Beau Biden was a very popular person within the Democratic Party, and Joe Biden as well. I think that there could be something to that.
Indeed he was. When you look at the server issues, none of this really would have happened if Hillary Clinton hadn't sort of had this arrangement in terms of the server at home. She's got to be kicking herself about that whole thing to some extent.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. Let's remember what that spin was last week when this first story came out that the IGs were making a criminal inquiry on this. The Clinton spin was that look, this is about the State Department and State Department officials. This is not a criminal inquiry into Hillary Clinton. But you're absolutely right, Martha, that none of this would be happening. We wouldn't be having these investigations. We wouldn't be having these questions about this, whether or not there was sensitive material on an unsecure server that Hillary Clinton created for herself if she had just followed the rules. I think that's important to push back as we look at this. The Clinton campaign is really pushing back against these stories even into this week and further as we get these emails that none of this would be happening if Clinton had simply followed the rules, and that doesn't need to be lost in all of our coverage of this.
It's unmistakable that it is of their own making, and everybody has had to spend a lot of time on it as a result. Michael, thank you very much.
Thanks, Martha.